Aisha Griffin. She is a Wisconsin woman who is running for the downtown Milwaukee seat in the state assembly. And on the ballot, she is able to describe herself in 5 words or less. All right?
Right. She's an independent, so you got to know what she's about, right?
Exactly.
So, I think she has a fairly clear description.
She does have a clear description. It is not the white man's bitch.
Well, you know where she's coming from, isn't it? Right? So now this becomes an issue.
Right. So there's a ton of controversy. It turns out that the state government's accountability board barred the wording of her description.
Yes.
So she's not able to describe herself as not the white man's bitch.
So the question that goes before the people that would decide this in Wisconsin is this a pejorative, for example? So because they can ban words that are offensive, pejorative, insults, racial, etc., right? Offensive. And so she makes the claim that, first of all, no, I'm being literal. A bitch is a female dog that rolls over, and I'm not going to roll over. And, okay, that's an interesting point, right? And a lot of the people who voted, in fact, she lost because she needed 4 votes, but one of the people that were supposed to be there wasn't there, and she actually got 3 out of the 5 votes of the people deciding, right? So this is interesting. She almost won, right? And so they say, well, look, she's got a fair point. It's not really an insult, and she doesn't mean it as an insult. I'm not sure I'm buying that, but okay. And then they also say that it's not racial. I don't buy that at all. What do you mean it's not racial? She says, I'm not the white man's bitch. What part of that isn't racial? Of course it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, am I missing something?
No, you're not. I agree. It is racial. Why is white man in there?
Yeah.
That makes it racial.
Right. I mean, if she had said, I'm not the man's bitch, right?
Then it would be sexist. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Right. It would.
No, but you can make an argument, right? Anybody could be the man, right? But the white man's, come on.
Right.
So now the question is, now that gives them a reason to say no, and I get the reason. But would you say no, right? So if you were on that, one of the people deciding that case, would you let her put that on the ballot or not? Mm-hmm. And I'm a little torn on that.
I am not torn at all.
Okay, fascinating.
Not even in the slightest bit. Look, I say that yes, she should be able to describe herself that way. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's a smart idea? Absolutely not. Do I think it's refreshing that there's someone who's running for something and being as honest as possible? Absolutely. All right. Do I think that it's going to work against her? Of course it is. People are going to see that on the ballot. There's no way they're going to vote for her. So she's not doing herself any favors. And I don't believe in violating her free speech by telling her, no, you can't describe yourself that way. She's not doing any harm to a human being.
Yeah, I disagree with you on a couple of counts. One, I think it might really help her. It depends on who's voting, right? I mean, I'd be tempted to vote for her. Okay. I mean, I'd be like, oh, whoa, all right, this one's not playing, right? Like you said, it grabs your attention, right? And it lets you know where she's coming from. And now you might agree or disagree with that, but it doesn't lack clarity, right? So it might help. But somebody rose up in the audience and made a decent point. I mean, what if she was a white candidate and said, I'm not the black man's bitch, right? I mean, which black man is she referring to? Is she referring to Obama? Is she referring in general? That's a little... And if that, isn't the opposite also too controversial and too offensive?
Let me just say that if the tables were turned and it was a white woman who said, I'm not the black man's bitch or whatever, I would still say, no, you can't tell her not to describe herself that way. It's her freedom of speech. If she wants to do it, then do it. I mean, in the United States, it's racist to say things like that, right? But there's no part of the Constitution that bars you from saying things like that.
Well, I'll give you this. It also would not lack clarity. If somebody I'm not the black man's bitch, I know I probably wouldn't vote for that person. But, it lets people decide.
And I think that clarity is refreshing, to be honest with you.
All right. Yeah, we've got to go to Justice Jackson here. The TYT Supreme Court is a little split. What do you think?
I don't think I can let either one.
You're not going to let
because the thing is, well, as far as that point that the person in the audience made about what if it said I'm not the black man? That wouldn't make any sense, first of all. So
I know, but
that's the. I mean, I was trying to think of the equivalent because that's what I was thinking too. I said, what if it's reversed? That's how we can figure it out. That it's fine because we're so used to black folks being oppressed in this country that we're like, oh, that's fine. She can say that because people have been the white man's bitch before. So, But I mean, maybe the equivalent is I don't know, whatever talking point there could be. I'm not gonna bow down to these uppity black folks. I don't know what's possible.
Right.
But
I won't listen to any Negroes. Right? I mean, you're going to let that go? I mean, Anna's got a decent point. Freedom of speech, then you know whether to vote for her or not.
And yeah, and just to be clear again, they're being as honest as possible, and that allows the voter to make a good decision.
So this is on the ballot, though, right?
Yeah, it's on the
I
ballot.
mean, if it's their
independent.
if it's their campaign, if it's their flyers, yeah, that's their freedom of speech to do whatever they want when they're campaigning. When it's on this ballot, that's this organization, that's the country, this is the state, this is what's overseeing
It's official,
it.
right?
Yeah,
I got you. So you're voting no on her. She's voting yes. We're still split. I'm still not even sure I have a decision. We got to go to the Chief Justice here.
I will have to say if she would have put it, she's not the brown man's bitch, then it would have been a controversy. No, but I'd have to say I'm also torn. I like Anna's point that it's her freedom and she's only hurting herself. But at the same time, I just feel it has to be some sense of professionalism
Right,
that I'd want
right.
her to kind of be more towards that. So if she's going to hold that kind of office, then...
Now, he does it every time. The Chief Justice swings me every time. We're not like the real Supreme Court where they never change their minds. Like, I'm open to suggestions. Yeah, he swung me. There's a certain amount of professionalism you want, right, on that ballot. And JR is right. You want to put it on your campaign flyers. What's her name?
Aisha Griffin.
Aisha Griffin, not the white man's bitch. Okay? Now we're having a conversation. That God bless your heart. That's freedom of speech. So, but I'm going to vote no on this and say she shouldn't be allowed to vote, put it on the ballot. You want to do a TYT poll on it?
No, but okay.
You know why? Because when we do a TYT poll, Anna has to do more work.
Yeah, no, I have to do more work. But I do like hearing everyone's opinion, so that sways me into the direction of, sure, let's do a TYT poll.
See, are we not the most open-minded people in America? TYT poll, we'll see what the American people have to say.
Sounds good.
Go.